Greetings and blessings from the Most High, Jah Rastafari. Crawford Ashley, the spiritual boxer. I'm going to talk about boxing, as I always do, but specifically the spiritual boxing way. And to me, it's like boxing is lost, or it was about. It's about, for me, respect and putting in the hard work and doing the basics. Now it seems like you just have to have a following on YouTube and you're a boxer. It's kind of weird. But I teach boxing. I teach the art of boxing, and it's about basically finding out who you are and what you're about. And I remember being at school, and especially high school, and none of the teachers understood me or got me. And all I was to them was prison fodder. That's what they used to call me, just going to prison. You know what I mean? And that was kind of like, I knew that I wasn't stupid. And I learned that when I was 8 from another teacher. I was messing about with my mate in class, and he shouted at me through the blackboard rubber, as most people know back in them days, and asked me what I was doing. I was 8 years of age, and I said no. And he said, there's no such word as no, boy. What were you doing? I didn't know what to say. He called me out to the front. He hit me 6 times with the slipper before he realised I didn't know what no. There wasn't another word for no. Then he went, it's nothing, boy, it's nothing. But I knew I wasn't stupid. You know what I mean? Why didn't he just tell me it was a foreign language to me? You know, my mum's a Yorkshire lass. There's no thing. My dad's a Jamaican. You know what I mean? So though it was, nothing was never ever in our vocabulary. It was always no. And at school you're supposed to learn, not get beat because you don't know something. They're supposed to teach you. And I knew this at 8. So I had a kind of like a real, what's that word? I don't even know what it is now. So I mean, my education system was kaput. Yeah, I've got a disrespect for teachers basically. I never really liked them. Now when I got to high school, there was maybe, out of 105 teachers, there was maybe 2 or 3 teachers who actually got me and liked me. And it was weird because I won the schoolboy championship when I was 14. And they called my name out in assembly on the morning. I'd forgot all about it. And the teachers didn't know whether to clap or what. They thought I was in trouble when they called my name out. I remember the headmaster saying, over the weekend we have a national champion in boxing, and it's Gary Crawford. Like that, and the teachers didn't know whether to clap or not. And I just looked. Because if you think about it, I was probably one of the most unruliest kids at school. But yet, I succeeded in one of the most disciplined sports there was. What was the difference? And for me, the difference was at boxing, they taught me how to basically think and fend for myself, and how to learn what I needed to learn my way, not drummed into me. What they must teach you. I don't learn like that. I like to find out for myself. Figure things out and work things out. Don't tell me what to do, or don't tell me how to do something. I'll do it my own way. And that was kind of like what boxing really taught me. And this is what I want to teach. That you've got to find your own way, your own style. And I mean, try different things, copy different people, see what kind of like sits right with you, and try it, and then put your own little slant on that. And that's what I try to teach. I'm not regimented. I don't teach one way. Basically, I get you to learn what you've forgotten. And which is basically a lot better than you think you are. You know, there's more to you than just meets the eye. And that's why I wrote the poem I'm More Than a Boxer, because it kind of like sums up what you learn to become. Because it's kind of like living in the present and living in the now. When you're in that ring, you have to be present, you have to be aware, you have to have an awareness of everything that's going on around you. And I found being in the ring an absolute fascinating place to be. I absolutely loved it until I didn't, and then I stopped doing it. But it is, I don't know how to explain it, what I got out of it. It was like being allowed to be me. You know, it was, like I say, I used to practice the things I wasn't good at and let the good things I was good at take over and let them run themselves. And that's what I try and teach in boxing for you, to let your natural self take over. I've got a kid at the moment, he looks very awkward, but it's very hard to hit, it's very difficult to hit, and I don't want to change his style. I just want him to enhance it and make it unique to him, because he's going to give people a lot of trouble. And it's like, I'm teaching my boy at the moment, and I want to do a basic course and take people from not boxing, I've done a little bit of boxing, to, you know, in 6 months to having a fight and putting a show on, but also recording them. You know, 3 times a week, we come down, we sit down, we do a session, and then at the end of the six month, you can box. So it's like an online course that I want to be kind of devising, but I want to do it with real people who actually want to box, you know. Anyway, that's what I was thinking. Like I say, about, it's difficult to sort of like speak when there's nobody to interact with, to come back from, you know, like questions that, you know what I mean, or clarifications of certain things. But like I say, the people I'm teaching at the moment, I'm teaching them not to worry about their opponent, just to concentrate on what they're doing, get their defence right. And that for me, first and foremost, is movement and balance. And like with Theo feeling a bit flat and a bit stale, for me, I just changed it. You know, turned him into a southpaw and trying to box southpaw. Now I could always box southpaw, but I never did. I used to train southpaw sometimes because to me it helps me think on how a southpaw would think, how he sees me. So I do things like that, because then it gets your mind thinking, then you're not flat no more, because you're rethinking, reprogramming, retrying to do certain things differently. So it adds something completely different, but it helps with your game. Anyway, that's what I think, and it helped for me because I never had no problems with southpaws, and I boxed some of the best southpaws in the world. They beat me, but I didn't seem to have much problem with them. See, there's differences about getting beat and losing. You know what I mean? You work it out for yourself. So, like I said, they didn't beat me, but I lost. Which makes sense in my head anyway. But yeah, it's like, if you're going to start on the boxing journey, keep a diary. I would suggest every time you go for a run, you time it, see how long you did, and write down how you felt on the run. And when you've been to the gym, write down everything you've done, from skipping, shadow boxing, how long you did, how many rounds you did on the bags, the pads, if you sparred or not, and how you felt. Because this is basically getting you in tune with how your body's feeling. You know, how do you feel? Tired, I feel flat, feel buzzed, you know, different things. And then you also get to understand the twinges and the pain. Where's the pain? Is it pain that's creating and building strength, or is it pain that's actual damage? Because they vibrate at different frequencies, and it's actually knowing which one is which, and when you should take a rest, because your body tells you so. You've got to get in tune with your body as well. This is what I was saying about boxing being a personal and inner journey to you. Learn to wrap your hands as well. I remember being down at the Cooper, and I was in the changing rooms, and Bob came in, and I said to him, I'm going to be about 20 minutes, Bob, go get yourself a cup of coffee. And I started putting my bandages on. And this other trainer who was down there, who I thought was a friend of Bob's, came in and says, you know, champ, if you was my fighter, you'd never have to wrap your hands. And I just looked at him and I says, do you know how I want my hands wrapping today? This hand hurts, so I'm going to wrap this hand tighter. This hand's a bit sore over here, so I want to wrap this hand differently. I don't want to keep telling you how I want to do my hands. I can just do it myself, and that's me finished. You know what I mean? But then again, that's how people poach. Boxing is a lonely sport. Have a really good team around you. People who don't pat you on the back, they tell you what you're doing wrong, telling you where you can improve. Yeah, you give you encouragement, and you've done this, but we need to work on this. That was brilliant, but we need to work on this. You know, when you was in there, you didn't. And you as a boxer need to take that on board, not being slagged off, because people will always pat you on the back and tell you how great you are. But the people you need close to you need to tell you how you're going to improve. And sometimes the truth hits a lot of people differently. And a lot of people can't seem to take it on board. They start passing the blame or whatever. You've just got to get it into your head that it's for your betterment, for your improvement. Because boxing is a very dangerous game. Very dangerous. You know what I mean? And if you've got a big heart and a strong chin, it's going to make you dim. You know what I mean? It'll make you very stupid. I was told by many of old fighters, so you want to get out of this game, and when you're in the pub when you're 60 and you order a pint, you know what change you've got. You know? And most trainers, the boxer's welfare must be at heart. You know, you see some people, they shouldn't be in with certain kids, and that's kind of like, is it money, or does the trainer actually really believe that his fighter's got a chance? You know, I think that's it for me. And the state of boxing is down to the matchmakers. The matchmakers nowadays are fucking terrible. You know what I mean? And then you got the board who allows these matches to be made. You know, where's your integrity? If a kid gets beat, he loses. You know what I mean? He's got beat, he can come back. You know, and then having this about, oh, he's unbeaten. Yeah, there's very few in the world. There's very few in the world. There's very few that there has been. You know? So it's one of these to make unbeaten fighters by handpicking opponents. you know, and then they're having a close fight and they nick the decision, but they won't give them a rematch. You know what I mean? Where's the respect in that? The kids give you a really good fight. You know what I mean? Some people even thought it won, but you don't want to go back and, you know what I mean, prove to yourself that you could beat him again. Just run off your mouth. You know, it's like back in the day, if you look at Ali, boxed Fraser 3 times. I think I kickboxed Norton 2 or 3 times as well. Guys who give him really hard fights, he went back in with him 2 and 3 times. You know, you got Holyfield. He won a split decision to Matthew Said Muhammad. Came straight back and gave him a return. Where's the honour in that now? You've got Josh Warrington, who got knocked out, came back, got a return with Lara. You know what I mean? And sad what happened, but you got to take your hat off to, you know, Josh. And to me, it showed a lot. It showed what boxing's about, that honour and the respect, you know. When it's at its best, I absolutely love boxing. And when it's at its worst, I detest it. You know, and it's like, somebody asked me the other day why I retired from boxing. I stopped enjoying it. It lost all its sparkle and fun for me. And it was the hardest thing I ever did, was retire. But it was also the best thing I did. Because I didn't feel I was in a position to do the sport I love justice. I wanted to fight at the top level. I wanted to be world class. And I just thought I was just on that slide. You know, I don't think I'd ever reach my peak again. And to fight world class, you have to be on a different level. I'd have been British champion for a while if I'd have continued, but British champion level never interested me. It was fighting at the top where you make a mistake and you get put to sleep. And I found out in my last fight, he was making too many mistakes and I couldn't capitalise on it. And when you're in that position, that's the fight over for me as far as I was concerned. So I retired from it, but then I got very depressed, really, really depressed. Tried to take my life a few times, but then I came out of it, and then I processed everything I'd learnt through boxing and what it meant to me, and then started back shadow boxing, started doing bits and bats, and I realised that, like I say, boxing is a journey to oneself, and I think that is the most valuable journey you can take, finding out what you're capable of doing. You know, it's very enlightening, you know, realising you're a lot better than, you know what I mean, you give yourself credit for. And that's it. Somebody says to me I should be proud of my career. And what people don't realise is I am very, very proud of it. I just have to shout about it, you know, which is good. Anyway, if you enjoyed this little chat, you know what I mean, and you fancy buying me a coffee, I could do with it. My PayPal account hopefully below, and my son's boxing on the 17th of September at the Aurora Suite in Woodhouse, Leeds. If you want some tickets, my email address is below. Oh, and I've also wrote a book called The Question. It's a prophecy for a new earth, and it's like back same price as a cup of coffee, and it sat down with me just listening to me witter on like now, but a different side of me, not about boxing, just about a world that could be if we all basically did what we know was right, not what we're told, but what we know, what we feel is right. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. If you do, leave us a thumbs up, and yeah, subscribe if you like the vibe.